Princess Leonor Marries live, King Felipe and Queen Letizia react. They told us this would be a royal union rooted in tradition, a fairy tale wedding fit for a future queen. But what happened today wasn't just ceremony, it was a moment of raw vulnerabilities, fierce love, and quiet power. Imagine Princess Leonor, glowing in white, stepping into her destiny, and right beside her, King Felipe and Queen Letizia, their hearts laid bare. Because this wasn't just a wedding, it was a reckoning, a passing of the torch, and a family finally meeting the weight of the future head-on. From the moment the sun rose over Madrid, the city hummed with anticipation. Royal carriages glided through cobbled streets, silent crowds gathered behind velvet ropes. But inside, behind the pomp, something even more charged was unfolding, not just a royal spectacle but a deeply personal transformation. Leonor's journey to this day. At 19, Leonor isn't a naive princess waiting in the wings, she's been preparing, training, growing. Over the past year, she completed a grueling 6-month naval voyage aboard the Juan Sebastián de Elcano, a rite of passage that tested her resolve, discipline, and purpose. In July, her father, King Felipe, awarded her the Grand Cross of Naval Merit, an honor that carried more than symbolism. It was a father publicly acknowledging her as his equal in service. At the same ceremony, they embraced for the first time in months. The tight hug said what words could not, absence had only deepened their bond. And in that same summer, she was named adopted daughter of Marin, the town that houses the Naval Academy, a deeply symbolic gesture linking her permanently to the life she's embraced. Tensions beneath the surface. Yet, this journey hasn't been without scrutiny. When Leonor accepted the Gold Medal of Galicia, critics cried foul. Was Spain's monarchy using honors to polish its image? There's political friction, too. As she steps into her role, some regional voices argue she's being elevated too fast, that the monarchy is whitewashing its past through her rising popularity. A royal family reunited and changed. Just weeks ago, Leonor's return to Marin after months at sea marked something deeply human. Felipe and Letizia stood with their younger daughter, Sofia, as Leonor took her oath, the family publicly whole again. This reunion was more than ceremonial, it was emotional. When Felipe hugged her, he squeezed her like a father who's missed his child far more than duty allows him to show. Letizia, worn with longing, reached out and held her daughter's hand, a reminder that behind every royal duty is a mother's heart. The wedding itself. Inside the Grand Cathedral, Leonor appeared, poised, elegant, but with a softness that betrayed her nerves. Her dress was classic, yet modern, a silhouette that whispered tradition but looked forward. Her vows carried that same tension. She spoke of serving Spain, upholding the Constitution, and honoring her family. When she mentioned Felipe and Letizia, her voice faltered just enough to feel deeply real. Felipe rose to speak. He started with pride, speaking of Leonor's journey, and then paused. For a moment, the king was just a father. His voice cracked as he called her, "Mi reina, my queen," before correcting himself, "future queen." The correction echoed with weight. He is letting go. He is preserving. Letizia's reaction was a quiet storm. She dabbed at her eyes, but held her composure. When Leonor embraced her wife, Letizia leaned in, whispered something brief, heartfelt, a private gratitude hidden in public grandeur. A wedding that wasn't just for them. The guest list read like a who's who of European royalty, but this day didn't feel like a political showcase. It felt like a family handing over its legacy, not just a crown. Leonor's smile as she and her partner exchanged rings wasn't just for the photographers. It was for her parents, for the weight they carried, for what was ending, and for what was beginning. Outside, the Spanish people watched live streams, glued to screens. For many, it wasn't just a royal wedding, it was a symbol of continuity. A chance to see their future queen sworn in, publicly and formally, with her family by her side. After the ceremony, balcony moment. After the vows, came the balcony. Felipe, Letizia, Leonor, the three of them framed against the sky, as cheers echoed below. Felipe stood tall, but his gaze softened when he looked at his daughter. Letizia, beside him, rested her head gently on his shoulder. In that embrace, they were not just monarchs, they were parents, witnessing a turning of generations. Their faces said it all, pride, love, maybe a tinge of sorrow. A chapter closing for Felipe and Letizia, a new one beginning for Leonor. What does this mean for Spain? This wedding is a milestone, but also a turning point. Leonor isn't just marrying, she's stepping fully into her future role. This isn't about fairy tales, it's about legacy, stability, and a monarchy that feels relevant. Her naval training, her public service, her growing popularity, they all signal a new kind of royal, one who leads by example, who embraces duty and modernity in equal measure. For many Spaniards, Leonor is not just the heir. She's a symbol of hope. But with that symbol